So, how does it feel to make a game each month? I'm soon gonna be shipping my second game for the Making 24 Games in 24 Months challenge in a couple of hours. I'm gonna be starting the live stream and release my second game for this given project. So I wanted to reserve this given devlog to kind of reflect my thoughts on the past couple of months and what have been the obstacles and challenges and also the learnings from this journey so far. There has been let's say, a little hiccup on making these devlogs. That's mostly because, to be honest, I've been a little um, having hard time to discover good topics I should be talking about, because I think it's not that interesting in a way to only talk about the current projects, because those are so fast in production. So there, I think it's not very valuable thing for people to just hear about that single thing. So it's, at least that's what I think, it's more interesting for people to maybe hear more about the whole process and the whole journey in making 24 games in 24 months. If you think differently and you think that there are some topics I should cover for each game and such, it would be super fun. But right now, there has been a couple of weeks without devlogs, I think, and that's mostly because I'm just out of topics, to be honest. But so how does it feel to make a game each month? The second game is coming out in a couple of hours, and that is the Cats with Standards, which is the horror visual novel which tells more about my burnout. So it became more of a, let's say, interactive movie than a game. And that's what I wanted to try with the game, do something very experimental, and I think I managed to do that with the specific game. There's not many games that you can compare that to. It's very unique in a way, but it doesn't have that much of a gameplay, so people who would like to actually do stuff when they play, maybe it's not their cup of tea, but I think it's maybe the genre cozy is something that tells more about the game. By the way, I'm gonna changing this to the gameplay here, that you can see on the side, like what is Cats with Standards about and such. But this is gonna be more of a podcast episode, so I'm gonna be talking about how I feel about the process and such. So there's no script as an example. So maybe this is one of those things that you can put on your earphones and earphones and just listen it through and while doing something other. But anyhow, my previous two games, Secret Quest and Cats with Standards, had a stuff ready before I started making those specific games. So Secret Quest was actually on development for, let's say, years before I decided that I'm going to be taking it as a part of the Shipping 24 Games in 24 Months challenge. So I basically just crunched the game to the finish line within that specific month, which was the previous month. And with Cats with Standards, the thing has been that there was maybe a month development time for the given project before I decided that I'm gonna be crunching it to the finish line. And that's what I did. And that's how the two previous games are now being complete. Like, there's something done before the development process of that specific month. But for the next month, so that's November, I guess. For November, I'm gonna be starting a game from scratch. My previous plan was that I would be working with a game from scratch maybe somewhere around January or something like that. So kind of just go take those projects that I have, prototypes or concepts or such ready, and just finalize those games for the rest of the year. But now I feel that for November, I have a good idea. I have a good plan, and I want to try already how it feels to start right from the scratch. Like, there's nothing done for the project. Last night I actually drew stuff on paper, like what could the project be and such. So that's all I have for the project right now. But there's gonna be a pre-mortem for the given project very soon, where I'm gonna be talking about that and the idea. The game itself is rather fun idea, at least I think so. It's a card game. but also I have a fun plan how I'm gonna be doing the marketing for it. But I'm gonna be sharing that in the pre-mortem once as a separate video. But anyhow, so I worked with 2 games so far, which had something on the background before starting the project. And it kind of changed the whole environment in a way that there was so much of legacy code that I had done for months before and such. And I think for such a short period of time that you have 1 month to complete a game, it may be even harder than if you have legacy code that you have to take into account when starting to work with the project. Because as an example, I think Catsmith Standards was built somewhere around last year, I don't know, December or November or something like that. So maybe more than a year ago, I worked with the project. And a year ago, I was a very bad programmer still. And for Secret Quest, I was even worse programmer when I was building it. So there's always been this legacy code issue for these 2 projects. So I'm thrilled of the idea that I can actually start building a project with the current knowledge of programming and all the production and things and such. I just feel that it could be easier. I can be totally wrong with that, but that's what we're going to be discovering during the November project. It's a fun thing, this whole 2 months. In a nutshell, I love this so-called lifestyle of making a game each month. I've mentioned in my previous videos that I'm more of a person who, let's say, likes to start things, and I'm very good in doing things very fast. But the problems start to occur when I need to dedicate into something for a very long period of time. And then I start to lose my motivation, I start to lose my interest for the given project, and I already have so many new ideas that I want to work with. So for me, it's a nice idea. Like as an example, today when the game is going to be released, I'm relieved. I'm relieved that the project is now over and I can move on. And that's what I think is nice with the making game each month. But at the same time, 4 weeks development time for a game is very obviously short period of time. And if you lose a week, as an example, within this month, I had a 1 week vacation plus a couple of extra days there and there. So I had less than 3 weeks. Less than 3 weeks to work with the project. So you don't want to really lose your time. Like if you lose a couple of days on some week that you have a sick kid at home or you're sick, or something like that, it feels like a burden. Like oh crap, I'm losing days here. Like how I'm supposed to be finalizing the game and such. So I knew that this problem will occur. Like that I start to feel that the pressure that I need to have more time to work with the project. But I just feel that it's something that I can learn. It's something that I can learn away from. As an example, if we compare Secret Quest development time to Catsmith Standards, Secret Quest, like mentioned in my previous videos, was one of the stressful times of my game development career, especially the last couple of weeks. But that was mostly because the game was so broken that I had to use so much of time to just fix it. Not to make any content or anything like actually interesting. I just had to fix bugs. And these bugs were not like some minor things. These were totally game-breaking bugs. So it was very stressful. Like Secret Quest was completed 50 minutes before the release time. So it was very stressful. But with Catsmith Standards, like mentioned, I had a full week of vacation there. And I also reserved like longer weekends, taking Monday off and such. And I didn't feel that much of a pressure still for the given project. It felt nice. And for the final week, I actually had time to do some polishing for the project and put it in a good shape and such, and actually do a little bit of marketing and such. But still, I had to let go of the things that I wanted to do. Or at least the original plan that I wanted to do. And it's mostly related to marketing. Like, I'm still having a hard time to discover like how do you get those eyeballs for your game. Like as an example, currently I'm running the Patreon, as some of you know, and I do updates there, and it's already a big chunk of my time to do an update to Patreon. Because, like mentioned, I have approximately 4 weeks to make a final game. So even doing that single Patreon post may cause some problems for the whole timeline. So, but also like YouTube, like the video you're listening right now, it takes time to make these videos. Not only to make the actual video, but to think about that what are the interesting topics I should be talking about. So these things take time. And I'm still discovering kind of what is the value in making these videos, or what is the value in doing the Patreon and such. Because in the end, it's a very minor amount of people who are there. And the amount of people who get interested from this and join the Patreon, that's even fewer, obviously. And I'm kind of still thinking that what are the best practices to use my time to bring value for people that they can actually follow this, but by bringing value, because obviously I could just press the record button and start talking some crap, and it won't make any sense. Like as an example, this given video, this is just my thoughts. I have no clue will this bring value for people, but I think that's the only way for me to do content during the development process, is to do these type of, let's say, podcast videos. Because for me, it's easy to talk. I like talking. I like just sharing my thoughts and such without any script. But then when I have to start thinking about the value and the script and start such, things take time. It can be like a half a day that I have to think about like what are the good content and such, and then actually record the video and maybe do some editing to make that as a quality video and such. So it may be a full day to make that one devlog video, which I think would give quality for people, value for people. So I think I'm gonna be for the next month, I'm gonna be more doing these non-scripted thoughts on some given topic. And what I would love to hear from you is there any value in these kind of videos, or if not, what would bring value for you? Because in the end, that's my whole purpose with the given making 24 games in 24 months, is to obviously enjoy the development process myself, but I wanna offer value for people who are interested in making games by this research stunt, or whatever you want to call this. I want to share my thoughts, I want to share my data, I want to share like everything, like how this goes, but I'm just having a hard time to discover what are the best and interesting things to be shared. So if there's some ideas on you, be sure to drop a comment, because I would love to hear those are very valuable things, and I would love to hear your opinion on that. But this month I was able to reserve a lot of time to not think about the game project. And that is the learning from this given month that I want to share here, is that it's easier said than done, that don't think about your project that much, do something different. Well, yeah, it's easy to say, but in the end, like, my head works in a way that I wanna think about the project, because it's interesting. I solve these puzzles of programming, or the story-wise, or the like the dialogues in the game and such, like what they're supposed to be talking and such. I'm solving these problems in my head all the time. And I'm not kind of trying not to do that, because it's interesting for me. I like it. But the problem with the given practice is that it's consuming. And if you just keep on thinking things that are related to the project, or related to the marketing, or related to, I don't know, something to the project, it's always consuming. And that's what I discovered during the Cats with Standards, because I was able to reserve a lot of time that I actually didn't think about the project. Or the whole, let's say, 24 games in 24 months thing. I didn't think about it. And that made me feel, let's say, more energized when I jumped into doing the things. And I didn't realize that. I kind of knew that that's how brains work, but I just didn't remember that. And now when doing that, like actually reserving, like quote unquote, forcing myself to think about something different and do something totally different, it's actually like putting money in the bank. Like you get so energized to do the things for when you actually start working. So note to self: reserve clear moments or time periods when you don't think about the project. Yet again, easier said than done, but everyone has their own ways to get off the grid. For me, it may be like going swimming to the lake. Like, it's very cold outside, by the way. In Finland, it's like 2 degrees, like right now, Celsius degrees. So the lakes are pretty, let's say, cold. But that's the thing. it helps me to ease in the stress and the thoughts and such by jumping into the lake and swimming there and such. Also, taking long forest hikes as an example. That's another thing for me. Also, seeing friends like for a longer period of time. That's just having, I don't know, 1 hour cup of coffee or such. Like actually having reserved time for that you just take a moment off, like for hours or maybe half a day or maybe a full day, like that you don't even think about the project. You do something totally different. And the all the social aspects and such, those are just very important, but it's very easy to forget this when like so focused into the project, like how this works and what I should do next, and is that the right way and such. So I encourage people who work with games, take that take that as a kind of important thing, that you actually have to put your brain away. Like, in practice, you have to do it. Not just know that you have to do it. You have to just train your brain to not think about the projects. And it will help you. So yeah, this month I had a lot of time for that. To vacations and seeing friends and such. So in the end, I would even dare to say that maybe I had even less than 2 weeks to work with Cats with Standards. So for the future projects, as in for November, I think, well, 2 weeks won't be enough. But that's just something I need to start practicing, like how do I reserve those moments of not thinking about the project, and how much each month I want to reserve that. Obviously, it will change on different months when I have some, I don't know, trips somewhere or such. But for November, I think I have nothing planned. So there's a risk that I work for the full 4 weeks with the project. But we'll see about that. Like, but I just want to try that, to not do it for 4 weeks, even it's straight. Like, because this is supposed to be a sustainable way of making games. And if I'm planning on making 24 games in 24 months, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Or not even a marathon. Like, it's maybe a marathon where you walk, not run, or something like that. But anyhow, I need to be sustainable with the things that I do. But yeah, so Cats with Standards was inspired by the indie game The Movie. If you have not, by the way, watched that given movie, you should definitely watch that, because in that movie there's a quote. I still can't remember who said it, but I think I could Google it, but I won't during the video. Someone said that take your deepest flaws and vulnerabilities and put those in a game and see what happens. And that's how Cats with Standards was formed. I took my deepest flaws and vulnerabilities and put those into a game. But I wanted to do it in a very artsy way. And that's what it became. So Cats with Standards is a very unique project. Like, not only from the development perspective, but for the player perspective and player experience perspective. I think there's not many games that you can compare that game to, because it's just very weird. there was someone saying that what I have been smoking or drinking to be able to actually do something like that, and I found that as a encouragement for myself, because it was nice to hear that it was actually weird. But the given person said that it was pleasant game, but a weird one, and that's the best compliment I can get for the given project. So Gatsby Standards is gonna be out on Steam in a couple of hours, so maybe consider purchasing the game. It will be something around, I don't know, a little more than €2. I don't know how much that in dollars, but anyhow, a little more than €2 with the sales discount. So be sure to grab it, play it, and this time it would be super, super sweet if you leave a review. And the review is not only to promote the game for the Steam algorithm, but for me to understand that did you get anything out from the game? Because if there's no reviews and no feedback for the game, I have no clue like where people just, what is this? I don't know. And I'm just gonna slowly move away from it and never touch it again. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Like, did you get anything out of it? How did you feel the story? Like, was there any story, or could you get a hang of it? Because the story itself, it's not that, like, let's say, clear. There are multiple ways that you can understand the given story. And I don't want to put, let's say, words to people's mouth, like, what is the story about? Obviously, like I mentioned, it's about my burnout and the process of it, but, like, what happens in the story, because obviously it's a fantasy story, like it's dystopian cats. So there are no real characters, it's just some weird environment where this all happens. So there's many ways that you can digest the story and understand that. So I would love to hear like how you thought about it. And there is no right or wrong answer. Like, whatever you feel, it would be super nice if you could share that with me. Do it in the YouTube comments, leave a Steam review, send me a Discord message, I don't know, write me a letter or post it or something, but leave me a comment what you thought about that. So yeah, Gatsby Standards on Steam today, 31st of October. So be sure to grab the game and play it and leave a comment. The next video most likely will be about the post-mortem of Gatsby Standards, where I take a look into the post-mortem stuff, like the previous post-mortem. If you have not watched the post-mortem of Secret Quest, you can actually do that on Patreon. So patreon.com/chestercraft. It's available for all the free members, so you can check it out there. And also the postmortem for the Gatsby Standards will be available on Patreon for all the free members. So hey, that's it with this devlog. This was a little different one because, like mentioned at the start of the video, be sure to drop comments what you would love to hear in these devlogs and what would bring value to you. Because I'm still struggling on finding different ways to actually share stories about this journey that would be actually interesting for people. So yeah, let's wrap it up. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a pleasant rest of the week. Cheers, thank you, and bye bye.